Okay, we're good. We are filming.
We're filming?
We're filming, sir.
Turn the compressor up so it doesn't blow our ears out.
I mean, it's only your ears, not like I don't have hearing damage.
Alright. Alright, well, what's today?
Today's the 29th?
29th? God, I fucking lose track of everything after Thanksgiving. I drank way too much on Thanksgiving. Did you?
There's no such thing as drinking too much Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, I drank way too much.
Nah, I only had a couple beers.
You did?
Yeah.
Just a couple?
I wasn't trying to kill myself.
Did I find this new root beer?
Oh, you're talking about Not Your Father's?
Yeah.
You should try Coney Island.
Dude, Not Your Father's is awesome.
They have a 10% Not Your Father's.
It's pretty potent shit.
Yeah. Well, it's basically beer with a lot of coriander and spice in it, so it tastes like a root beer.
It's good stuff though. But we're making knives today. Making two knives actually, just kind of two knives. I don't make too many of. One of them's pretty much just brand new. But I've got a lot of questions about how I stamp my knives. Okay, stamping knives. There's really no easy way to do it. Okay, it's gonna be definitely involved. Stamping to me, people ask me why I stamp my knives. I think stamping is just cool. Stamping is super permanent. A lot of guys do like the lasering and they'll just kind of like do the etching and all that kind of stuff, and that's all cool and everything. But you get something that's stamped. It just puts, to me, it puts your knives on a different level, just because of how much work it actually takes to get a good stamp. Now you guys see my logo. My logo is it's not really super intricate or anything like that. But first of all, if you're looking into doing stamping, you need to get a fucking stamp. So go to, let's see, steelstampsinc.com. They do some steel stamps. I know Buckeye. There's a couple of Instagram people that I've kind of like stumbled upon that are making steel stamps. Make sure it's obviously hardened steel. I think they usually do them out of like die steel, like 01 or something like that. And they're really good. But once you get that stamp, you spend 130 bucks for a stamp. Now you got to kind of figure out how to stamp your stuff. I've seen guys put the blade down. They'll take a blade, they'll put it on like an anvil or something like that and hold the stamp, and they'll hit it with a hammer, and of course it's not going to be straight. It's going to be a real cattywomp, and it's really hard to get a good stamp. So some guys have there's that one company, I think it's called like Porter USA. They make a badass, real cool pneumatic jeweler stamp. It's like $800 or $900, I think. And it has that. You got to go buy the bottle jack from Harbor Freight. It's like a 20-ton bottle jack underneath it, and kind of crank it down. I've never used one. I've seen a couple of them used for it. But then again, you're spending $800 on that, and then you got to go ahead and machine a fixture and a jig to kind of put your stuff in and find a way to put your stamp in there. So instead of doing all that, if you're kind of on a budget, or you want something that stays really consistent and it's not too expensive to replace and all that kind of stuff, go with a 1-ton arbor press. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do a couple things to it. You have to take this ram out, and if you come under here, Adam, if you come under here, you can see my stamp, alright? What you want to do is take this ram out, and you're going to need a mill to do this, and then machine a slot going all the way up the ram, the length of however much of the stamp you want kind of sticking out. So once you do that, I put some set screws in here so it doesn't move. I'm also got a C-clamp kind of holding it in place. I've been using this for years. This exact arbor press, this exact setup, this exact stamp. I've used this for years and nothing bad has happened to it. And the whole setup cost me $50. What you're gonna want to do, this is a solid piece of steel. Okay, take the anvil that they actually send with these. It's a cast metal, and it sucks. It's gonna crack and break on you after like 2 stamps. So what you're gonna want to do, get a nice solid piece of steel and kind of put it under there. Okay, so you're gonna kind of want to mess with this a little bit, but when you do it like this, you can interchange. You can get some longer bars to kind of get a better angle or some more pressure or whatnot. But I've used this exact setup right here. You can see the top of it where I've been smacking it with a hammer. It's kind of like mushroomed out a little bit, which is good. It gives you a nice little bigger surface area to kind of hit. So that's the first challenge that you're going to face is getting a setup to where you can get a consistent, good stamp going. Now, after that, you got to figure out how you're going to kind of do this by yourself, because you can't just set an arbor press, hold this down, because if I do that, look, the whole back's going to come up, okay? So you got to stabilize this in some way. I basically put this on the floor, and I set up kind of like a little self-made station to where it's going to stabilize it, and I hit it with a hammer. But if you can't do it that way, you got to find a metal table, or make a metal table that's super durable. You got to bolt this thing down to it to where you can kind of do it by yourself. But the way that I do it, after I get everything all set up, you want to get your stamp in there nice and solid and everything else, and have yourself like a good base and everything and all that kind of positioning. So from here, you come on over here. The way that I set this thing up, that's go on the concrete. You get your knife, whatever you're going to stamp. So before surface grinding, or kind of any type of machining, I always stamp my stuff first. So I'll stamp it, and then it's going to go to surface grind right after that, and it'll clean everything up, and it'll make sure that that stamp pops really nice, because when you stamp something, it's going to tweak your steel. It's just the way, this is the way that it is. It's going to go from straight to a little bit crooked. So you're going to want to surface it out, make sure it's all nice and straight again, and then for the machining process, it'll make sure that everything is facilitated really nice, and everything's, you know, you're nice and 90 degrees, and all your machining will be true. So set it down. You're going to kind of bring the arm down and figure out where you're going to want to stamp this bad boy. So it'll take a couple times to get it dialed in on where you guys are going to want your stuff. So once it's all set up, once you're here, what I do is to do this by myself. It's definitely not easy to do by yourself. Just get yourself a nice piece of like 1/2-inch bar and put it over here in one of the one of the holes. You're right. In one of the holes. This is going to give you an extra bar to kind of hold it down. Get yourself a nice 4-pound sludge right here. Hold the bar. Step right here. So now I got two. I'm pushing kind of this way, and I'm stepping down right there. What you're going to do, bring this leg back, 'cause you're not going to want to hit your shin. Nice amount of pressure so it doesn't bounce. Give it a smack. Does that focus?
I'm focusing, hold on. Good there, good.
There you go. A nice deep stamp. I got probably 30 thou deep into that thing, okay? And what it looks to me is actually, you know, once you get everything dialed in, it's actually not looking down, it's, by my eye, I can't even tell how crooked it is, because it's very, very, very slim. This is a real good platform to do. You'll play kind of with the pressure that you gotta put on it to get a good stamp going, but you know, like I said, that whole setup cost me like $50. It's not a bad deal. It's better than $800. If anything needs to be replaced on that, it's really easy to replace. But anyway, that's how I stamp my knives, and that's why I do it. And it's really easy. I can do, you know, this all day, and it really isn't taxing on my body or anything like that. And it's really consistent. It's pretty cheap. So anyway, take care, guys. That's how you do it.